Hello and welcome to another X-Pro tutorial for SolidWorks modeling. Today we will be modeling this chasing hammer. It is a hammer used by juveniles and jewel makers. So let's get started. We will begin by creating the head of the hammer using a revolver feature. And after that we will make this handle using the lofted boss feature. So let's begin. Let's create a new part. As always, I will be using millimeters. Let's sketch the front plane. From the origin, I'll draw a line which will be 30 millimeters. Next, let's draw two circles. I will make these circles vertical and equal. And I will make a small center line here and here too. It doesn't matter how long they are. Make these 2 millimeters in diameter. The distance between them is 12, and from the origin to here it's 10 millimeters. We also have to add this dimension. Now let's add several more lines. This one will be under angle, and now we need a 3-point arc. So from this point here, all the way up to here. And let's make the arc and this line tangent. Let's add a line here and another 2-point arc from here. I'll make this point tangent to this line. Let's add some more dimensions. This angle will be 15, and the height of this line is going to be 3 millimeters. For instance, we require a measurement of 2.5 for this particular dimension. Also, let's make this 24. Okay? Now we have to trim these excess lines. Make sure that you keep trimmed entities as construction geometry checked. Now we have a fully defined sketch and a closed contour, so the idea of revolving is to have a profile contour that needs an axis around which it will revolve. So our axis is this vertical line. This is the contour that you will revolve. And revolve is under features revolve boss. Let's select it. It's asking us which of these lines is the axis of revolution. It will be this vertical line, and immediately it will make a 3D model here for direction. Select blind and make it 360 degrees. We can confirm this. Let's save the part. I will name it Hammerhead 1, and now we have to drill a hole for the handle. We will select the front plane and make a sketch on it. I will just draw a center line here. I will rotate the part a bit by holding Control. Select this, design, and make them coincident. This sketch is not fully defined, and I will add a circle in the middle of this line, making it 6 millimeters in diameter. Let's go to Features and use Extrude Cut. We want it through all but on both sides. And let's confirm this feature. We can add a fillet, for example, 5 at this point and this point too. Let's add some bigger fillets also, maybe 1 millimeter on these two edges. There we go. We have a simple feature revolt. So we used one sketch to make this part, and an additional one for extrude cuts. We can add a color to this part. Let's go to Edit Appearance. Let's save this part. Next thing, we will make a 3D model of the handle. This is how it's supposed to look like. So let's make a new part. I will start by sketching on the top plane. Firstly, I will create a center line that is 250 millimeters long. After that, I will double-click on the scroll button to center this sketch. Let's add a vertical line and make it a midpoint to the origin. I will make this line 6 millimeters. And let's add another line on this side. Let's make it equal to this one. The only difference is that this one will be construction geometry. Now let's add a horizontal line and make it 160 millimeters long. Furthermore, we will use the spline to create another sketch segment. Let's start here. Add several points and press Escape to exit the command. Let's make it tangent to this line. Here too. Okay, this looks good. Next, I will mirror these two lines on the other side, so let's use this from the Sketch tab. Let's select these two and mirror the center line. Exit the sketch. We can save this part and name it Handle 2. Now we will draw another sketch on the front plane. So I will start by drawing the same way as we did in the previous sketch. Let's make this also 6 millimeters. The same thing on the other end. I'll try it here. I will rotate the model a bit and then add this relation here and make these two equal. but this one will also be a construction geometry. Now let's get back here. I will draw another horizontal line, also 160 millimeters long. Let's add another one. It will be equal. And now, like in the previous sketch, we will use a spline tool to add another sketch segment. Let's add another one down here. Next, I will make this tangent to the center line. This one too. And here we will add tangency. This looks good. Let's exit this sketch also. As you can see, this looks like a handle that you saw in the assembly I just showed. Now what we also need are several cross-section sketches that will define the handle when using a lofty boss feature. So we'll start by adding cross-section sketch here. At the beginning of these two sketches, right-click on the right plane. Let's draw a circle. We can just connect it to one of these points. It's 6 millimeters. I will exit the sketch, and now we have to create several planes. So click on the right plane and hold Control. And when you see these arrows, just pull it to the right. Let's add, for example, 80 millimeters. Now we have a new plane. Let's sketch on this plane. I will, again, add a circle that is 6 millimeters in diameter. I will exit the sketch and then hide this plane. Now let's make a new one. I can simply select this point and I will have a fully defined plane. Let's sketch on this plane. Again, I can connect it here, exit sketch, and hide this plane. Now we should make several cross-sections here to define this part of the 3D models. The more cross-sections you have, the better the loft will be. So let's, again, start from the right plane. Pull it here. For example, let's select this point. Now I will sketch it here. I will use the spline and start from this point and just make 4 points, a shape similar to a circle, and then let's use these points and make these relations. So this point will be pierced through this line. This point will be pierced through this line, and this one through this line. Now, as the sketch is fully defined, exit the sketch and hide this plane. Let's make another one. It's the same process, a line starting from this point. Pierce relation. Let's make another one here. Make another sketch using the spline tool. We can add another one. We will hide this plane and let's make another one. At this point, make a sketch and spline. Again, the same way. Let's add one more plane all the way to the end here. It's at this point. Okay, and let's make a sketch. It will be another circle. Let's connect it here. It will be 6 millimeters in diameter. We can now hide this plane too. Now you can see that this looks like the handle we've seen in the model. Here it is. So we have the outer borders of this 3D model. The next thing we have to do is to give it density. So let's go to the features and select Lofty Boss. It's asking us for these profiles, which are the cross sections we just made. It's asking for guide curves, which are the first 2 sketches we created. So for these profiles, there's a very important thing to know. If you look at this circle, you can see that it is basically split into 4 segments. If you select this segment for this circle, you have to select the same segment on this one too. So if you select this segment here, you cannot select this one on the other circle, because it will twist the 3D model. So you have to select the same profile. I will send this one here and then here. And I will continue in the same way, going backward. Here, also here, and here. Okay. Now I have to add guides, which will be this sketch here and this sketch here. You can see that the 3D model is following all of the borders that we have given it. And let's confirm this feature. Because we have a small cut here, let's add a fillet that we will use here in the command search. Let's select this surface. And we have to reduce this to maybe 0.1. When you look at it from the side, you can see that it's adding a small dome. Now we have created this handle, save it, and we can add some color to it. For example, we can use this dark gray. Also, we have to create an assembly that will connect these 2 parts. And let's go here to the drop-down menu and select Make Assembly from Part. It will bring us to this small window, and it will ask me, what should I put in? First, I will select hammerhead, click OK, and SolidWorks will, by default, connect the front plane from the part to the front plane of the assembly, the top plane of the part to the top plane of the assembly, and the same thing for the right plane. It will say here that you can see this small f in the brackets. And it will also say that this means this part is fixed, so you cannot move it anywhere. Now let's add the handle. Insert the component and handle too. Now you see that it has a small minus sign, but let me delete it. We will do the same thing for the hammerhead, so its front plane is connected to the front plane of the assembly, but this is not what I want. So I have to make this handle floating. Let's right-click on the handle and say float. Now, if you right-click and hold this handle, you can see that you can rotate it. So let's position it, something like this. Left-click, hold it, and drag it upwards. Now, what I want is to make this surface or this edge, for example, concentric to this hole. Let's hold Control here and here. I will get a quick menu that gives me these. I want a concentric mate between these two. Let's click it, and let's see what happens now. The handle is going through the head, but I can still move it and rotate it to stop the rotation. I can use the front plane of the handle and the right plane of the assembly. I will get these mates. Let's use parallel. Now I can still move the handle this way. So I need to mate and add another mate to fully define the assembly. I can use the right plane of the handle and the front plane, and I can add a distance mate, for example, 7 millimeters. And you can see that now I cannot move this. And we have lost this minus sign next to the handle. Let's save this hammer assembly. And there we go. I hope you like this design. I hope you liked this tutorial. See you in the next one.